Hi, welcome to today's yoga practice. It's going to be a short practice, but one which will be focusing on lots of balance as we go through, but also one that will stretch the body and make us feel good at the end and relaxed. So let's begin. Perhaps the intention for today's practice is one to connect to your breath and to connect with your eyes. So your focus point, finding those focuses. So staying true to our breath, clearing our mind, using our breath as our guidance can really help with our balances and helping us stay in the moment. We often wobble in a balance for two reasons. One might be because our body is learning how to recalibrate its center of gravity when we're standing on just one leg and we're not, it's not a position that we're used to. So part of the process and part of the wobbles is because our body is learning to recalibrate that center of gravity. But sometimes the wobbles are also because our mind begins to wander. Our mind begins to think and that distracts us. So our intention for the practice today would be one of staying true to your breath and finding your focus points. So they're the areas that we can control our senses. So we can control our breath and the sensation, keeping it nice and soft, fluid and slow. And then we can also control where we direct our eyes. So we can, allow ourselves to kind of look around and that might help us wobble. Or we can find something to settle our eyes on, perhaps our thumb, our toes, or the ground in front, something that isn't moving. There are traditional focus points in yoga, but we'll see how we get on. You might find, something that resonates better with you. So a short practice, but one that I hope will be good for both the body and the mind as we go through this. So let's come into our child's pose first of all, just to allow us to transition into yoga mode, into a state of being rather than doing. And we're going to fold over our thighs, belly connecting to your thighs. You're welcome to part your knees so that you're in a nice wide position, and then you fold down, maybe walking your hands forward, connecting your forehead to the mat and just allowing yourself to release into this posture. It will probably feel really good if you've been sat at a desk all day, and just a wonderful stretch for the entire body. Maybe closing the eyes, or just take one or two breaths here. Beginning to slow down the breathing. So consciously breathing into the belly. If your belly is connected to your thighs, it'll feel a little, restricted still, but if your legs are open, there's all this wonderful space below for your belly to just breathe so freely, to expand so fully. So slow exhalations, slow breathing. And we're going to bring our hands in, coming into our tabletop. So repositioning our wrists under our shoulders, our knees under our hips. Toes can be tucked, or you can have your toes flat on the mat. I'm going to come up onto my wrists, but you're welcome to stay on the palms with your fingertips facing forwards. And we're going to take a couple of cat and cows here. So dropping the belly as you inhale, looking up. And then exhale, chin to your chest, belly comes into your spine. When you're ready, dropping the belly, looking up, inhaling as you do. So you can always breathe in this position if you want to hold it. And then just know when you transition, exhale, belly into spine, chin to chest. Now it's quite hard to breathe in this position freely. Otherwise you might begin to take it one movement, one breath. So inhale, look up. Exhale, look down, belly into spine. Inhale, looking up. So our cow position. Exhale, belly to spine. Cat position. So taking one more at your own rate. And then returning into a neutral position with your spine. If you're on your fists like me, just come off and place your fingers and your palms back onto the mat. We're going to tuck our toes, engage our core, and we're going to lift up and back as we exhale into our downward dog. So, taking it nice and easy, we're still warming up the body here. You can walk your feet out on the spot, so just moving from one ball of the foot to the other, lifting it up off the ground. So sending that weight up and back, fingers nice and wide. And then we're going to take a nice inhale, soften those feet, just steady, come to stillness with the feet. Take a nice deep breath in, and then we're going to roll forwards into a plank position, and then exhale, push back into your downward dog. Take a nice deep breath in, roll forwards, and then exhale, push back into your downward dog. We'll take that one more time. So inhale, transition your body weight forwards, slightly over your wrists. And then exhale, send your body weight up and back. Maybe just walking your hands slightly forwards. We're going to come through to our vinyasa. So we're going to inhale, roll our body weight forwards. We're going to drop our knees down to the ground. As we continue to exhale, our chin and our chest is going to lower onto the ground. Release the toes. Inhale. Coming forwards. Just into our Sphinx pose. First of all, so elbows under the shoulders, looking forwards. Breathing here. And then when you're ready, hands come back under your shoulders, tucking your toes, lifting up and back into your downward dog. Just repositioning the body, finding that nice alignment for you. Remember, always bending the knees if you wish. And then you can either stay in your downward dog, or if you wish, you can inhale, raise that left leg up to the sky, toes pointing down, heel pointing up. And then we're going to exhale, draw that knee down, under, and bring it forwards, putting it in front, in line with our fingers at the top of the mat. Coming into a runner's lunge first of all. So keep pushing through the heel of your back leg. And then we're going to inhale, find that strength in your front leg. So we inhale, rise up into a high lunge. So for this, we want both feet facing forwards, arms up towards the ceiling. We'll feel a beautiful stretch through the front of our body, particularly on the right side. So we're in a high lunge position. We're going to take a nice exhale. We're going to bend our arms at our elbows, coming into what's called a cactus position, looking up towards the ceiling. So squeezing those glutes. And then inhale, raising those arms back up, looking forwards, bringing your hands down to your heart center. And we're going to step through our left leg. So our left foot's going to take the weight as we transition to the front of the mat. Now, if you need to place your feet onto the mat just for a little bit of support, you can. Know that you can always use the wall for a bit of support here. Engaging the lower core, we're going to lift our right leg, and we're going to exhale, send our leg back into our warrior three. So you may be able to extend your arms forward, or you can keep your hands under your chest in a prayer position, or you can bring them back behind you. So we're engaging our left leg, nice and steady, micro bend if you wish, engaging the thighs. Now you might find some wobbling. Inhale, we're going to bring that body weight up, swing that right leg forwards, and come straight into our tree pose. So again, it might be the ball of your foot onto the floor, resting your heel against your ankle of your standing leg, maybe bringing the sole of your right foot to your inner calf, or bringing the sole of your right foot to your inner thigh. I'm going to stay with my calf, and your hands can remain at your heart center. So finding your focus now on the horizon, maybe something just in front of you, slowing down your breathing. And then we're going to take a breath here, and then on your exhale, we're going to transition back into your warrior three. So your heel is going to point behind you, maybe bend that standing leg Begin to send that right leg back behind, toes pointing down, hinge your torso. So find your focus with your eyes, slow your breathing. Keep flexing that back foot, that raised foot. Keep engaging the core. There's a tendency for our hips to want to sort of pop out, but we're going to keep our hips facing down. And then we're going to bend that standing leg and just come back up to standing. Maybe release the legs, and this time find your block. If you would like, so you can bring your block to the top of the mat, or you can just use your hands if you prefer. I'm going to put it just on the low setting. So coming back, first of all, into your warrior three on the same leg. So we're going to stand on our left leg, push our right leg back. So coming back into warrior three. This time we're going to bring our hands down to that block. Actually, I'm going to pop it here on the high one. And all we're going to do here is bend our right leg, bring our knees into a line with each other, and then I'm going to push and extend away. Inhale, bringing it in, and then exhale, push and extend away. Last time, bringing it in, and then push and extend away. And all I'm going to do now is allow my body weight to transition back, coming back into that high lunge first of all. So arms reaching up to the ceiling, shoulder distance apart. High lunge, I'm on the ball of my foot, of my back foot, weight evenly distributed in my front foot. And then I'm going to exhale, bring my hands down to the mat, engage to my abdomen so I can create some space to lift my leg back, and I'm going to push it up, my left leg back up into the sky if you wish, and then exhale back into my downward dog. Let's take a chaturanga here. So inhale, roll your body weight forwards into your plank. Exhale, drop down onto your knees, your chest and your chin. Elbows pointing back. Inhale, rising up this time, either into a sphinx or into a cobra. Exhale, lowering the body, tucking the toes, pushing up and back into your downward dog. Taking a breath here. Opportunity to slow down that breathing again. And then inhale, raising that right leg up to the sky, toes pointing down. And then exhale, bringing that knee under and through, planting the feet at the top of the mat. Inhale, rising up into your high lunge. So on the opposite side now. So you might feel a wonderful stretch with that left front body. Keep drawing those shoulders back and down. Keep pushing through the heel of that back leg. And then we're going to transition to a standing position at the front. So finding focus with your eyes. We're going to stand into our right leg. If we need to put our foot down, we can. And then we're going to exhale straight into our warrior three position. So hands can be under your chest, or you can extend them further out in front, in line with your ears. Option to have a slight micro bend in that standing leg for support. So holding it here for a few breaths, and then we're going to inhale, rise our torso up, draw that left leg forwards, and then bring that leg straight into our tree pose. So here you can bring your left leg, the ball of the foot to the floor, the sole of your left foot to your right inner calf, or to your right inner thigh. So staying true to your breath, finding a focal point. Allow that foot and that ankle just to wobble a little bit as you recalibrate your center of gravity. And then from here we're going to push that left heel back, coming back into our warrior three, so hinging at your hips. Extending that left leg back, toes pointing down, heel pointing to the back of the room. Again, your hands can stay down by your chest. Maybe they bring them slightly behind, or you can extend them out in front. And then inhale, come to standing. Maybe refine that block again, placing it in front of you. Otherwise, you can always use the floor. Standing on your right leg one more time. Inhale, raising that left leg, engage the lower abdomen. We're going to hinge from our hips, coming back into our warrior three. Hands come down onto the block. Toes pointing down, heel pointing away, and then we're going to exhale, bring that knee in towards your knee. And then inhale, extend away. Exhale, drawing that knee in towards your other knee. Extend away. Exhale, draw that knee in. And then extend away. We're going to inhale, rise our torso back up, dropping our heel, dropping our ball of our foot into the floor, into our high lunge, the toes both pointing forwards. And then exhale, we're going to bring our hands down to the mat, step our right foot back, straight back into your three-legged down dog. Toes pointing down to the ground. Bringing our feet, both feet to the mat. Maybe just walking out the downward dog here for a moment. And then we're going to take a nice inhale, roll the body weight forwards. Exhale, dropping our knees to the mat. Continuing to exhale onto our knees, our chest and our chin. Inhaling, sliding forwards into either our Sphinx or into our Cobra. Taking a few breaths here. Lowering our belly back onto the mat. Bringing our hands under our shoulders, tucking our toes. And then pushing up and back into your child's pose. So for here, you can have your knees together, or again, your knees sort of spread out wide. And just allow yourself just a few moments. That was quite a lot in just a short period of time. So one last breath. And then we're going to inhale, roll forwards one more. Tucking our toes, pushing up and back into our downward dog. So repositioning your hands, tucking back into your downward dog. This time we're going to lift our left leg up to the sky. Now if it's within your practice, you may want to flip your dog here. Otherwise, you can just stay in your downward dog. So if we're going to flip the dog, we're going to bend that left knee, allow that left ankle to come towards our right buttock. And we're going to pivot on our standing leg, lift our hand, and flip our dog. Doesn't matter what you look like. And then exhale, we're going to pivot back again into your downward dog. That left leg raises back up. Now here we're going to come into our pigeon. If you prefer, you can come into your figure four instead. For our pigeon, that left knee is going to come behind our left wrist. And then we're going to allow ourselves to come into our pigeon. If you want to use your block, you can pop it under that left glute. So there shouldn't be any pain in our knees or our hips. If there is, recommend trying the figure four position instead. And if it's comfortable on our exhale, we're going to drop our body down towards the mat. Folding over. And just breathing freely here. So you're welcome to cross your elbows, opposite arms to opposite elbows, or have your arms extended. If it's too much, you can just stay in more of an upright position. So just taking a few breaths, slowing down that breathing now, using this your opportunity to calm after a little bit of exertion. Knowing that you have the power to choose how you navigate through each yoga pose through the control of your breath. If you're lying down, just walk your hands in, planting the palms onto the mat, removing that block from underneath if you have it, tucking your back toes, and we're going to lift our body up and then extend ourselves back into our downward dog, maybe just walking out. Our feet on the spot, taking an inhale, rolling our body weight forwards. Exhale, lowering down our knees, our chest and our chin. Inhaling up into either your Sphinx or your Cobra. I'm going to be in my Sphinx pose this time. Hands come back under your shoulder, tucking your toes, pushing up and back into your downward dog. This time, inhale, raising your right leg up to the sky. Toes pointing down, heel pointing away. Nice deep breath in. Now you can come back into your traditional downward dog, or if it's comfortable, you're going to bend that right knee, open that hip so the heel comes towards your left buttock. Pivot on that ground foot. Lift that right arm up. Coming into your wild thing. When you're ready to come out, just pivoting again through that grounded left foot. Right arm, right leg, reconnect to the mat in your downward dog. Raise that right leg back up to the sky. And then you're going to exhale, bring that right knee to your right wrist. Dropping your leg, maybe extending that left leg a little bit further back, untucking the toes, popping a block, if you wish, under the right buttock. And again, you might want to stay up high, or you can come down low. Or alternatively, coming into the figure four on the other side. And again, just staying connected to the breath, choosing a nice, slow, deep, relaxing breath. It can be quite an intense stretch. So the softer we can find our breathing, the softer our body will release. Bringing your hands back in and under, removing the block. Tucking your back toes, pushing into the shin of your front leg, the front of your foot, lifting up and then sending yourself up and back into your downward dog. Just walking those feet out one last time. Walking your feet in towards your hand, dropping your knees down into a kneeling position. And then coming into your child's pose for the last time. I use this as an opportunity to relax, or you're welcome to come onto your back just to help process and relax for a couple of minutes. We won't spend too long here, just a couple of breaths, sorry. Maybe closing your eyes. Choosing your final position, whether it's child's pose or lying on your back. Just allowing yourself to fully rest here, to let go, to soften the body. And then when you're ready, you're welcome to stay for a little bit longer. You can come up into a seated position. And that is all for this video. Thank you.